Did you know that Netflix's comedy drama Boots is actually inspired by the memoir The Pink Marine, One Boy's Journey Through Boot Camp, written by Greg Cope White? Or that when Netflix originally greenlit the series, its working title was The Core? Or that the series was executive produced by the late and great Norman Lear in one of his last producing credits? When Netflix originally picked up the series, they originally picked it up for 10 episodes. But as production began and the scripts were written, it quickly became clear that the story only needed 8 episodes to explore all the main themes that White wrote in his memoir. The memoir and series are set a few years before the introduction of the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy in 1994, and are based on White's experiences in the military as a young, closeted gay man in 1979, through a balance of humor and heartbreak. The series also explores masculinity, identity, and the hope for acceptance. The show brings White's touching coming-of-age story to life by blending real-life experiences with fictional elements. Although White contributed as a writer on Boots, the military drama isn't a direct retelling of his life. Our showrunner opened it up to explore the entire platoon, many characters from the book, some newly created. Cameron Cope and Ray McAfee are based on me and Dale, but we also take them places I never did, says White. Boots reportedly began pre-production on June 7, 2023, and was almost immediately impacted by the months-long Hollywood strikes by the Writers Guild of America and Screen Actors Guild. By the end of that year, Lear had passed away at 101 years old. During pre-production, the team decided to change the name of the series from The Core to Boots to reflect better the central theme of the series, the exploration of the ensemble cast of characters that are all going through the United States Marine Corps boot camp. Boots' success was owed to the casting of the main character, Cameron Cope, and the team found the perfect fit. 13 Reasons Why and Parenthood actor Miles Heizer. Heizer isn't typically drawn to roles that force him far outside his comfort zone. However, when the opportunity came to audition for the lead in Netflix's Boots, a series that combines the emotional journey of a coming-of-age story with the physical demands of a military drama, he knew it was a role worth chasing. Determined, he threw himself fully into the audition process to give himself the best shot at landing the part. I audition for a lot of stuff that maybe I'm not super excited about, but I just always happen to get the ones that I desperately want to be a part of, Heizer says. What attracted Heizer to the show was the lens it casts on a hyper-masculine world and deconstructs it for viewers. He auditioned over Zoom and then eventually got flown out with Greg to New Orleans to meet with the show's main team. He's the smartest, wittiest, quickest person and has such a unique sense of humor that's very similar to mine, says Heizer. The same can also be said about Andy Parker, the creator and showrunner of the series. Before Heizer and the rest of the cast started filming, the entire team had to undergo a 2-week boot camp in New Orleans. There, they formed close bonds through blood, sweat, and tears. Heizer does note, though, that he and Liam O, who plays Ray, had to film their flashback scenes with hair, since they were going to do a majority of the present-day scenes with a buzz cut. So both actors missed out on some of the boot camp prep. Each episode of the series focused on one aspect of boot camp, so production would have time in the schedule where the cast would go learn that skill under actual military advisors who were on the set the entire time. There's so many little meticulous things that you would absolutely never know. Where your belt is placed, how your shirt is supposed to be tucked, all these very specific things, says Heizer. New Orleans became the main filming location for the series, which was extra special to White since he himself grew up in New Orleans. Many of the key scenes in Boots were filmed in and around New Orleans. Reports indicate that the production team repurposed an old naval base, transforming it into a stand-in for the Marine Corps training grounds at Parris Island, South Carolina, where characters Cameron and Ray build new bonds while navigating various trials. With its wide-ranging scenery and location along the Mississippi River, New Orleans offered a visually rich setting that helped portray both the boot camp and the characters' personal lives with authenticity. However, filming wasn't without its difficulties. The intense heat and humidity posed real challenges for the cast and crew, especially during outdoor shoots. Several actors, dressed in full military gear and carrying heavy equipment, struggled with the conditions under the blazing sun. New Orleans is also known for its recognizable landmarks, some of which appear in the background of several scenes. New Orleans has served as a prominent production location for many Hollywood projects over the years. In episode 5 of the season, titled Bullseye, Ochoa, played by Jonathan Nieves, and is one of the series' most endearing characters, drops dead due to a toxic combination of heartbreak, exhaustion, and a heart condition he kept secret. It was a harrowing moment that Heizer calls the turning point for everybody. The characters, the cast, and the audience. It sort of kicks off the second half of the show, that it's a lot more about interpersonal connections and less about just struggling through the physical challenges, says Heizer. O mentions how a character in the show has a line about how loss doesn't always come so soon, but it's an unavoidable part of the journey they've all signed up for. Some will have to bear the heavy burdens along the way, while others may feel almost none at all. This becomes the central theme of the latter half of the season, something inspired by White's own journey through his boot camp days that he felt important to bring to the table in the show. When Netflix started promoting the show, they enlisted the help of LGBTQ+ organizations to help reach the right demographic the show speaks to. One of those organizations was the San Diego Gay Men's Chorus, which recorded a new version of George Michael's Freedom 90 for the show's trailer and other promotional content. The chorus is truly honored to have been chosen to sing for this incredibly written and thought-provoking show, said interim executive director Sarah Thompson. The chorus held a fundraiser benefit in October 2025 to celebrate this historic event, and saw all donations directly going to the chorus's mission of bringing music to the San Diego community. It's also a wholesome moment for the Southern Californian city, because one of the US's largest Marine bases is also in San Diego. By the end of the season, everyone from the cadets to lieutenants and sergeants undergoes change. Parker had been developing the show for 5 years, and his main goal was to connect with it on a personal level and hopefully make that resonate with audiences globally. The showrunner has mentioned in interviews that in the past, he flirted with the idea of going to the Marine Corps when he was in high school, but ultimately decided not to. The show is about transformation. A line from the show is, "Boot camps are the machine that makes men. This is a place that is designed to test, to train, and to transform you," says Parker. Season 1 ends with, spoiler alert, Cameron transforming and heading toward a bright future in the military. But then the season ends with the announcement of war, signaling big trouble for everyone. Parker says, "That's why we wanted to set the story in 1990 to have the conflicts of the pre-don't ask, don't tell era, as well as the war tension within the Middle East. This would allow season 1 to set up the characters and relationships, while season 2 can expand beyond that and explore the world around them more." In regard to current government policies in the West, Parker and his team hope it highlight the personal impact of policies that cause harm to those who serve. While the series isn't overtly political, it naturally delves into the emotional and psychological consequences individuals face when subjected to fear and discrimination. It offers an honest look at how those experiences shape people on a deeply human level. And that's one of the biggest reasons why the show is so successful. Thanks for joining us behind the scenes. We hope you enjoyed getting a closer look at how Netflix adapted Greg Cope White's memoir, The Pink Marine, into their hit dramedy, Boots, from casting to filming locations, and exploring timely topics. If you like this kind of content, let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next for Collider Behind the Scenes.